great seats right here. All right, fun day for us. Always a fun day to get a chance to celebrate recruiting, especially this 2019 class. Obviously, for those of you that cover us all the time, y'all know we signed pretty much everybody in December, and I had a couple that we added today, and then some preferred walk-on guys that we're excited about joining us as well. December, we signed 27 guys, 17 mid-year, so those guys literally moved to Clemson while we were in California, and were waiting on us when we got back and had a chance to go through the parade and the banquet and all that stuff. So really kind of neat, seeing those guys when we got back. Haven't had a chance to be around them very much since then, to be honest with you, so I'm excited about getting plugged in. But today we signed Mikey Dukes, as y'all know, the running back out of First Baptist, and really a guy that we've tracked for a long time. He's been in our camp, and small school, but well-coached, winning program, and a guy that is dynamic. He can do a lot of things. He's great in space. He's got good ball skills. He's a great basketball player, and a young man that we think really fits, what we're looking for at that position. So really big to get him in the fold there. And then Mason Trotter from Dorman, offensive lineman. Really excited about Mason as well joining us. And then 9 preferred walk-ons, 1 offensive lineman in Matt Cranford. He's from down there at Hartsville. And 3 receivers, Hampton Earl from right here at Daniel, Ty Herbstreet from NBA in Nashville, and then Hamp Green from Mountain Brook High School in Birmingham. We got a kicker, Jonathan Whites from down there at Portugal, rival of First Baptist and Mikey Dukes, but another great school, and same school that Stanton Seconder came from. But Jonathan's an outstanding kicking prospect, and really fortunate to have him come be a walk-on. D lineman Nick Edis, which is actually Coach V's nephew, so we're excited to have him join us. He's about a 265-pound, big athletic kid that we think will be a good addition to that D line. Got 2 linebackers, both from Daniel, David Cody and Matthew Maloney, 2 kids we know a lot about. This will be the 3rd Cody boy to roll through here, and Kyle just finished up. What a gritty player he was for us, and Peter's in his journey right now, and now getting David. David's big. He's built a little different than Kyle and Peter. They were DBs, and David's a linebacker, and then same thing with Matthew Maloney. What a great kid. I've known him since he was in elementary school and have watched him grow up, and he'll be a great addition to our program. And then Jake Herbstreet is the corner. So he and Ty are twins, 1 wide out and 1 DB. So we're just excited to have all those guys join our program. It's a big day for everybody. And so today is, even though we had the signing day in December, today is a celebration of the completion of the class. And really, to me, it's kind of turning the page and being able to put our eyes forward on the 2019 team and getting started. But, we had a challenge in this class. I mean, the winningest class in college football history just walked out the door. You talk about some impactful young people, graduates, leaders, just so much a part of our culture here, unbelievable competitiveness and toughness. All those guys walking out, it's important that we do a great job with this class. And time will tell, but I really feel like that this group is going to continue to help us be a consistent program on and off the field, because I think that they have bought into who we are and the way we do things. And so just really excited about this group. It's the biggest group we've signed. And, it's and again, to have 17 of them here is huge, for especially this team with so many seniors gone, in particular at D tackle. Otherwise, I don't know how we'd practice this spring. So we got a couple guys out due to injury, and so we're going to run a bunch of freshmen out there. So it should be a lot of fun. But, from a class standpoint, we've never signed the #1 recruiting class in the country, and I'm not sure we ever will. But this is another top 15 class. I think that's 9 in a row. And I think probably one of the things that we do better than a lot of people is really evaluate, the people and evaluate to the fit of our program. And, so our guys do a great job of that. And this class in particular, I think for me, as I get out on the road and go and see all these places, I mean, this class comes from 14 states. So I've literally been everywhere, coast to coast, with studying these guys and meeting their families and the schools and so forth. And it's really cool for me to be able to confirm and affirm why they chose Clemson. And it's easy for me to see that on the back end when I go in, because I can only go one time when they're a senior from a contact period standpoint, where you can actually talk to them. When I go by schools and they're juniors and stuff, it's evaluation time, so it's different. But when I can go and have conversations and go to homes and things like that, it's really cool for me to see why they chose Clemson, and it's very obvious to me why they chose Clemson. So the brand again is strong, 14 different states, and going to be a fun group. Y'all gonna enjoy covering these guys over the next several years and watching how it all plays out. But again, time will tell, because down the road it's all based on performance and not potential, and it's based on graduation and decision making and all those things. So y'all have heard me say many times, I always think we got the recruiting thing backwards. It should be, I think we should right now be evaluating class 4 years ago, because then like I said, it's more data driven as opposed to potential. And but potential wise, I really like this group. We got a lot of work to do, but man, I'm excited to get started with them. I'm thankful for these players. I'm thankful for their families, for their belief in our program, and then I'm also thankful for the job of our staff. I mean, it's just a never ever ending process when it comes to recruiting. But I love it. That's one of to me one of the best parts of college coaching is you have the opportunity to be able to recruit to your program, and guys have to choose you. It's not like the NFL where you just draft somebody and they have to come whether they want to or not. This is a really cool dynamic in college football because people have choices, and when they choose to come be a part of it, I just think it's really cool. And man, our staff does an unbelievable job of going out on the road and articulating who we are and what our core values are, what we're all about as a program, what the expectations are, and just getting guys on campus. I think that is huge. And then once they get on campus, I mean, it's just the totality of Clemson. This is a special place, and it's so many people who drive that. And I just really appreciate everybody's effort from top to bottom, and people are excited to welcome this group. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and again, for me personally, 17 guys that we can start coaching up is going to be pretty cool. I know we're not getting into spring ball, but for us right now, we're going to take a little break. We're really excited about that because we really have not had one since before we went out to the Cotton Bowl. We had a couple days there before the Cotton Bowl, but it's been a lot going on since that time. So the staff really just needs a few days to kind of reset a little bit, and then we're going to come back in here next Wednesday and a big staff meeting and really start our diving into our quality control, our self-evaluation, our player evaluation, our offense, everything we do, and then we also start our all-in drills next Wednesday afternoon. So that'll be a lot of fun, and that'll be the first day that those mid-years really question why they came mid-year. So, like, really, we signed up for this? So that's always a fun day, and then we start spring ball 3 weeks from today. Which I'm pumped. I wish we could start next week because I'm ready to get on the field. This team is going to be very different. The dynamics are going to be very different. That's what's so much fun for me in college football is because your team changes. The dynamics of your teams change so much from year to year. Obviously, last year we had this veteran defense and all these grown men up front, but man, we were we were going to be a little different on the offensive side with some new people coming in to compete and stuff. And but now most everybody's back offensively, but defensively, we're built a little differently. I think our linebackers and our secondary is going to be really good, really good. And it's going to be exciting to see some guys get their opportunities. I can't wait to see, Shaq Smith run out there this spring with that first group. And let's just see what him and Oskowski and Isaiah Simmons can do. It's going to be Kendall Joseph and JD and those guys, Trey. I mean, they've been around here a while. And so it's going to be neat. Chad Smith and some of these guys. And then you look at all those guys that played last year in the secondary, the experience that they got, and those two young corners that got experience last year and kind of growing them up a little bit more. I think our ends are going to be a lot of fun, a lot of hunger, a lot of talent. We got some decent experience there. And then you have D tackle, where we literally have zilcho. And so, Todd Bates he got some work to do. It's going to be a lot of fun. But Niles Pinckney. So the ironic thing is, and I always say that God never says oops, and glass is always half full. But Todd Bates, we talked about this the other day, but Niles Pinckney had to have surgery on his pec. He had a little slight tear in his pec, so he's out for spring. But we know Niles can play, and Niles will come back this summer ready to go. Had an excellent year in his sophomore campaign. And then Jordan Williams, he was over there playing basketball a week or so ago, but he's had to have some type of screw or something put down in his leg, and so he's going to be out for spring. And that was our two starters going in. So, and one's going to be a junior, and the other one's going to be a sophomore. But the good news is, both of those guys got a ton of experience this year and really learned a lot, and obviously had a great model in front of them with those guys as to what we got to do. And I think they'll provide great leadership. So that's the good news. They'll be all right. The bad news is they're not going to get any reps, and all the reps are going to freshmen. So with the exception of Xavier Kelly. But Xavier's kind of new too because he doesn't have a lot of reps. So it's going to be a great spring, a chance for Xavier to get all those reps and see if that light comes on, he's ready to put it all together. And then offensively, we'll go in with 4 seniors up front and good experience at back, good experience at receiver. Got a couple new guys at tight end, that will be mixing in there. So we'll see how it all works out. But we're excited about it, and I think this group coming in here is going to really help us have the depth we need this spring to develop our team. That's it. Spring game's April 6th, by the way, if anybody's interested. So hopefully we'll have a great crowd for that.
Niles and Jordan are going to be okay come summer.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah. They'll be all right in the summer. But they're just going through Niles had been battling a little pec issue, and, it was kind of one of those things that he could or couldn't. And, as far as going ahead and getting it fixed, but he just felt more comfortable about going ahead and getting it done, and especially I think with the experience he got this spring, I think he feels good about his development. Just wants to feel 100%. And
with the walk-ons, does that mean Herb Street now has to say great things about you guys?
No, I don't think it works that way. But I think he's got to do his job. We got to do ours.
I was going to ask about Logan Cash if he was going to play end or tackle, but now it sounds like
I appreciate you bringing up Logan too. He right now we'll probably start him at end for sure. Just kind of see how it goes there. But he's a guy that's at home right now. He actually had to have and he should be okay for spring, but he actually had to have his appendix out. It just hit him last Sunday, and had to rush him to the hospital and had to have his appendix out. And I guess that's a little more common thing than you maybe know of, but he's going to be fine. But he's recovering from that, so he actually had to go home this week, where they could kind of keep good care on him, but we'll get him back here soon, and should have him out there ready to go.
Dabo, you mentioned the tight ends and some new bodies. Davis and Jalen are a couple guys that are coming in, and Jalen, lot of expectations
Yeah.
on what he's done. Can you talk about their development and how much you're going to need them this year?
We're gonna need them big time, because Cannon's gone, Milan's gone, Garrett most likely won't be back in the fall. I mean, he's around this spring and going to be out there helping us, but he's dealing with his health issues. He's getting his knee back right, and he's got a lot of things he's dealing with. But he really wants to go into the military. So right now I'd say he's probably not going to be back, but we're just kind of leaving that open-ended right now. Just kind of see where he is once he really gets healthy, what he really wants to do. But right now that's probably the direction he's going, is to go ahead and he wants to be a Navy SEAL, wants to join the military, and he's excited about that. So it's big. I mean, this is a great opportunity for JC this spring. He's going to all of a sudden, and he's really improved, but he just hasn't had as much opportunity. We've had some veterans in front of him, but this is going to be a huge spring for him because he is the veteran. You go from being really just kind of in the back of the line as a rookie, and you got all these vets, to now all of a sudden it's a whole different deal. You walk in the meeting room over here, and you are the veteran. So there's a different expectation for JC, and I'm excited to see how he's worked really hard. He's gotten strong. I mean, I'm excited to see how he develops in his role, and then Braden. This is a whole different deal for Braden as well. He came in here last year with, really having a lot to figure out, and man, he is super, super talented. He needs this is big for him to get a lot of work this spring, and then to get his tail in that weight room and to continue to develop and grind. I mean, he's got a lot of opportunity as well, and then Jalen and Davis, the two freshmen coming in. Jalen is here. He's as good a looking a kid as you're ever going to see. He's right almost 6'6" and can run. Just in camp, he's as talented as I've ever seen in our camp, on our practice field. Just athletically, his ability to run and change direction, his length. So I'm really excited that he's here. That's going to really help him. And then Davis Allen, another big-time athlete. He's a big lefty pitcher. He's a basketball player. He played both ways in high school. He's just a big athlete that we're really excited about, and we think he's got a bright future. So he'll get here this summer. And then we got a kid named Jael Banks who walked on here last year and had to sit out because he had started out at Georgia Southern, I think. But a great kid, and just wanted to walk on at Clemson and came in here. And he's kind of that Garrett type guy, a little bit more of that fullback mindset. So I'm excited to get him out there, and he'll have opportunity to get a lot of work too. But we got a good group.
You mentioned Braden. Is there any update on the appeal?
No, I don't have an update on it other than Dan is in. They're handling all that stuff, and they're working through that whole process still, just like we said out there, trying to really kind of find out exactly where it came from, or is it some type of contaminant or something that. So there's a whole process that they're going through, but at some point there'll be some type of closure and appeal and all that, and so I don't know when that's going to be, but I can't really worry about it right now.
What can Braden do during all that?
He can practice. He can do everything. It's just he's ineligible unless he wins his appeal. So it's kind of where we are. Same thing with Zach.
Do you know if they've had any luck made any progress trying to?
I don't. I know it's a huge undertaking, and I really have not been in that loop. I've been gone. I've seen Dan maybe just like a minute here and a minute there over the last several weeks, but I know that. But they're all working through that.
Dabo, I don't know how much contact you've had these few weeks with Trevor or with Justin, but these are young guys who achieve something momentous. I mean, it's one thing to play well during the season. It's another thing to win a national championship. How have they kind of dealt with it, handled it? I mean, are they still just the same guys they were,
same guys.
September?
And we got a team meeting in here at 4:15 today, And when they walk out of here, they'll have, if their feet are off the ground, they'll have them back on the ground this afternoon. I can assure you that. But no, those guys are awesome. I mean, and that's why they've been successful, you know, because it's not like we just showed up and had one good game. I mean, there's a lot that goes into the preparation, and those qualities that they possess is one of the main reasons they were able to perform the way they did in those moments. You know, they're just very mature young people that are about the right things. They're focused on the right things. They put the work in. They're not entitled people. You know, they're just grinders, and they're passionate about it. And you know, they're on to the next thing. I went to maybe two Sundays ago. I went over to, you know, the big thing around here is this intramural basketball. This is huge. Like these recruits, nobody really cares what they can do on the football field. What they really care about and what they're really excited about is who they're going to put on their intramural basketball team. So it's funny because it's like a bunch of vultures. You know, here's Jalen Lay, and so the first thing they do is evaluate, you know, whether they want them on their team or not, and it kind of all, you know. So anyway, I got a chance to go over a couple Sundays ago to Fike, and I saw my son Will and his team and his little group, and I think they're in like the D2 league or something like that, and you know, but it was fun. Got a chance to watch them play, and then I went over to the maybe the 1AA league. I'm not sure. They call themselves the Roy team, you know, so they're in the Roy league, and that was Trevor and Rencher and I think Kayvon and I think Tremaine Ankrum maybe was on that team, but you know, just a bunch of, you know, they got their, you know, they're out there playing basketball, and then the show shows up. All right, here comes all these guys walking in. They got their orange warm-ups on, and they strutting in the Fike over there. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, okay. Now we got something. And I look up, and it's Justin Ross, T. Higgins, DeAndre Overton, Cornell Powell, Jordan Williams. And now Jordan's out for spring, by the way. But, hey, it is what it is, you know. These guys need to be kids, too. Jordan Williams. Jalen Lay, I'm forgetting somebody, but I mean it was unbelievable. And they're playing some little fraternity team that should be in the D2 league, but they're in the big boy league. And it was first thing still, and Justin slam dunks one. So anyway, they're just having fun and enjoying being college people and doing what college kids do. But it's a lot of fun to see that group. So they're all. You know, doing their thing, and you know, all these guys have gotten put on their basketball teams, but it's a big deal around here, man. I mean, it is. It's a big deal. Who's getting picked?
But you didn't ever worry about, like, the talk right afterwards was, well, you know, Trevor's ready for the NFL now, and he needs to withdraw and spend 2 years getting ready. Did you ever worry? Do you ever worry about that kind of stuff?
No, I don't worry about that stuff. Why would I worry about that stuff? I mean, you have zero control about that. People going to. Did they say Tua should withdraw last year and leave too? I mean, you know, and whatever else. I mean, everybody can't go to the pros, you know. But it's one day I would say for sure that if that old boy stays on track, he's gonna have a chance. But you know, I mean, and I know somebody's talking about the minor league or whatever. I love that. I've said that for years. We should create some type of – I wish there was a minor league of football. So people who don't value education, they don't have to go get one. Go on and go play ball. Just like baseball. Go play baseball. And if you make it to the bigs, you make it, great. If not, maybe you go to college somewhere down the road. But if you know, that way to me, it cleans up the recruiting process. You know, it would cut out some of these people – some of the cheating that goes on in recruiting, and again, guys that don't value education. If you don't value education, don't go. Go to work. You know, go to work, and if it works out, great. You know, have at it. It doesn't bother me a bit. You know, I just coach the guy. There's plenty of guys out there that want to be a part of the college experience, and so no, I don't pay any attention to that stuff.
A big part of this college experience you speak of is acclimating these kids to the college life, and how hard it's got to be for those kids to come into a situation where they're at a high demand program. But a kid like Taquan Johnson, who just lost his mother, how do you bring a kid like that on campus in the middle of the summer and acclimate him and put your hands and arms around him?
Yeah, well, that's just what we do. You know, that's what I'm called to do. You know, is really just love on our players and teach them. And I try to raise all these guys and teach them all just literally as if their last name's Swinney. I don't look at them any different. Everybody in this room, I try to teach them, love them, discipline them, just like I do my own kids. That's just my approach to coaching. And, you know, in life there's going to be challenges. And for some people you have more challenges early than others. But that's just all part of it. You know, our experiences are what shape us and what develop us and equip us as we move forward in life. So you got a really difficult situation like that. But Taquan's got an unbelievable – he's got a very unique story. It's very different from a lot of young people's story. But he's very blessed. He's got a wonderful family that really adopted him, you know, a few years ago and have raised him. And it's just amazing the impact that they've had on his life. So he's got a great support system and then when he gets here, he'll have the same thing. He'll have a lot of people, a lot of resources, and a lot of opportunity to, you know, grow.
Coach, 17 mid-years, I think that's the most you've ever had. What are some of your first impressions of Tyson and some of those other guys?
Yeah, I haven't hardly seen him. I mean, I've seen him maybe 3 times, just in and out, you know, on the fly. Because I've been gone, you know, every day. So they're awesome, though. I mean, you know, we had a chance. We kind of introduced them all. We let them kind of talk and introduce themselves and interact with a little Q&A at our recruiting thing this morning. So that was pretty. Do y'all get to see that? Do y'all get to see that? Is that like a live feed or something like that? I saw a camera in there. I didn't know if it was. But anyway, that was pretty good. That was kind of neat to have those guys here and for people to get to kind of see their personalities a little bit and hear them answer some questions. So they're a great group. The feedback that I've gotten from all the people, you know, that I'm always connected to, from Brad Scott to the Nieri to our nutrition and the weight room, and et cetera, has been very positive on that group. So they're off to a good start.
Yeah, but you guys have had a lot of success with maybe prospects that aren't as highly rated. What is it about Mikey and Mason that you guys really like?
Yeah, just he's got a ton of upside. His best football's in front of him, but the bottom line is he's got the tools. I mean, he can run. He's a great guy in space. He's got really good ball skills, can catch the football, and he's dynamic. He's incredibly athletic. He's a multi-sport guy. He's been playing multi-sports forever, and not just playing them, but dominating. He's a great basketball player. So I had some basketball offers to go play college basketball. I mean, he's a legit athlete, and he's been in our camp. So he's a guy that we've been able to have our hands on multiple times. I think he's been in camp maybe since the 8th or 9th grade. And, you know, and Tony he's just a guy that Tony just kept kind of coming back to and coming back to and coming back to. And he kind of bet on himself too, because he had a lot of opportunities to sign in December. You know, Tony wasn't quite ready in December. So he bet on himself. And he really wanted to be at Clemson, and I think that matters too. I mean, this was something that has been a dream of his, so it's really cool to see it all come to fruition. But we think he's got a chance to be a heck of a player. Got a nice body on him for a young guy, and especially a guy that's been a multi-sport guy that hasn't really been able to train like he's going to be able to train when he gets here. But ton of potential.
What about with Mason?
Oh, Mason Trotter, man, he's first of all, the program he comes from, and his coaches over there are guys we have a ton of respect for, and man, they have always been right, always, not sometimes, they've always been right. So I have a lot of respect for Coach Gutshaw and you know, Coach Lancaster, Coach Dempsey, that group over there, man, they do an unbelievable job, and every kid we've had that's come out of that program has been ready. They've been prepared, and they've been able to transition well. But Mason's football IQ is off the charts. This is a really smart player. He's got a great body on him. He's going to be able to play 3 spots for us. And at the end of the day, it just, you know, he was just too good a prospect for us to pass on. And so I'm glad it worked out.
You mentioned the winningest class leaving. Like, who's some of the guys that take on that Christian Wilkins type role out of these guys?
Yeah, well, that's we'll see. You know, that's kind of the process that we're getting ready to start. This is what we call get ready. This is a new journey, and you know, I've been getting a little feedback here or there, and our accountability teams are set, and so it'll be interesting to kind of see how that all plays out over these next few months. But we'll get in those winter workouts next Wednesday with the staff every day, and you know, afternoon and then AM, and we kind of grind it up for a week and a half there. We don't have a lot of time, but we've become really, really good at taking about a 5-week training period. You know, we've gotten a lot of practice at it, and I like it that way. I like to start earlier. You know, I just think it helps you turn the page and to get back. And then I like more time on the back end. I like more training time in the summer. I like more time for evals and stuff because our school gets out early. We get out that first week of May, and I just like to have a little more time to be around them on the back end of spring where we can really have good evaluations of them and what they need to do to prepare for August. So it's just what we believe in and what we do. But as far as who's going to assume those roles, we're going to find out. I mean, you know, I think offensively, you got 4 seniors up front that have had a pretty good run. You know, you got, you know, Travis and Feaster in the backfield. It's going to be fun to see those two, and then Lynn J, who's you know, still green around the ears. It's going to grow up this spring, and that's exactly what he needs. He needs an off season, and he needs a spring, and he just needs a little tough love this spring, where we can really give him the attention that he needs. And so I'm excited about that. We obviously got a really good group back at wideout. Gonna miss Travion and Renfro for sure, but man, what a group. T and Amari and Justin just starting right there. You know, these are veteran guys that bring a lot to the table, and so I think offensively we got a lot of answers. There's obviously Trevor coming back and Chase. You know, both are proven leaders, committed guys, have great respect by their teammates. And then over on the defensive side, you know, I think that's where that question, I think we got a lot of talent, but the answer to that question is a little more, I don't know. We'll see. You know, I feel like Skowski's a guy, and I think Isaiah's ready to grow up a little bit. You know, this is one of the reasons he came back. He needs a different role on this team, and that's something we're expecting from him. AJ, I think he'll be a dog, man. He'll be an unbelievable leader on that back end. All 4 of those safeties, you know, Kayvon, the maturity that I've seen in him, Muse, Nolan, and Denzel. Man, what a group! These are guys these are some grown men now. They've kind of been through the fires. They know what the expectation is, and but we'll see. You know, up front, who is it? Right now, we're rolling freshmen out there. Xavier Kelly, who'll be a sophomore. Everybody else is a freshman. So we'll see how it all shakes out. And you don't have to be a senior to be a leader. You know, so we'll see.
Coach, obviously a lot interested in the Herb Street brothers. I asked Kirk about a month ago about their recruitment. He said they were fully brainwashed Ohio State fans, but after talking to you, they really bought into your vision and the culture here. What was their recruitment like, and how unique were they compared to your average recruit?
Yeah, well, very unique. Obviously, just because of you know who they are, but really didn't go about it any different than we would anybody else. The biggest thing for them is, you know, first of all, they had to be good enough and to be a preferred walk-on for us. You know, we have tryouts and we have all these different avenues that guys can get on the team, but when we bring in preferred guys, there's a whole process that goes in that. And you know, they needed to come to camp. They did that. And then I think just having been around them a few times over the years, and he let me know early that they wanted to go to a big school and probably walk on. They were going to have some smaller offers, but they really wanted to go to a bigger school and kind of get that experience. So I knew that early, and so we got them in camp, had opportunity to spend time with them, and You know, they went around. They've been all over. I mean, they've been everywhere. To me, that's pretty cool. Because it's a great compliment that Kirk, you know, signs off on his kids coming to Clemson, because obviously he's been around everywhere, but so have his kids. You know, and when you grow up like they've grown up, you know, just like my kids growing up, they've been around a lot. They've seen it all. They've heard it all. They've been around every coach, every player. They get it. They have a little different perspective. So do his kids, because they've been on every college campus. They've been around coaches. They've been around locker rooms. They've been around it. So it's kind of neat that they you know, wanted to be a part of what we have here. I think that's a great compliment to the locker room downstairs.
There been any other injuries right now?
No, just those two. Just Jordan, and those are pretty big, just simply because, I mean, they're not like big injuries where they, you know, can't play or something, but they're big injuries in that they can't go through spring. But the plus side of it is, you know, we're not giving those guys reps. We're giving all those reps are going to all those guys that need to learn how to play. But it's going to be a baptism out there this spring. You talk about 4 seniors. That offensive line's never been so happy in all their life. You just think, oh, how times have changed. You know, those guys have been rolling in here and been getting their noses bloodied as young players, and now they're seeing you got Cervinka and Simpson and Pollard and Ankrum getting ready to break in those young freshmen that just got here. So it's it'll be fun out there this spring.
How have these few weeks been? How have these few weeks been for you? I mean, it's a great achievement to win one national championship.
Yeah.
You win 2 in 3 years. You know, it's really kind of remarkable. How have you kind of kept yourself from maybe getting over your skis or worried about that? I mean, has it been?
I'm going skiing tomorrow. Good one. Listen, I keep the main thing. I just try to keep my life simple, keep my priorities in order, and it's a little overwhelming this time of year, especially coming off of a moment like that, because there's just it's just a lot to keep up with in the office, and I'm not in the office because I'm literally traveling every day. And so when I do come back, it's just like, you know, whoa, you know, deep breath. But it's just part of it, you know, and I love all of it. But it's all good. You know, it's great. I mean, like I said, it's been an amazing journey. And like I said, after the game, to be able to experience that once is incredible. To be able to experience it twice is an unbelievable blessing. I did a radio show this morning, and I was talking about that. You know, the first one, it was awesome. First time in 35 years, and it was, you know, at that point, it was my 8th year as the head coach, and it was the only thing we hadn't done, you know, was win a national championship. And now to do it again, it was a different type of journey. Such a joy this year. I mean, this group was so much fun to be around, and they enjoyed it. I mean, this team was dominant. Just dominant. You know, it's been interesting, you know, all the, you know, riding around and in the car and listening to the radio and stuff. I mean, it's so fascinating to me to hear some of the comments, you know, like, it's like everybody wants to explain what happened to Alabama, and instead of, you know, how about Clemson just had the better team? It's really, you know, and we really didn't do anything different than they had done all year. They won 13 games by 20+. They won their state championship by 3 touchdowns. They won the ACC championship by 4 touchdowns. They won the Cotton Bowl they won the ACC championship by I don't even know how many touchdowns. What was that score? But it was a lot. And then they win by 4 touchdowns in the Cotton Bowl, you know. And then they win by 4 touchdowns in the national championship game. All they did is do what they've done all year. People just didn't really pay attention. And so it's like nothing happened to Alabama. They just played a better team that day. And simple as that. Alabama's unbelievable. They're 14-1. They did an amazing job. Amazing job. We just had the better team. And that was my message before the game, is because I told them earlier, I said, we got the best team in the country right here. And, you know, I've told them that all year. Tonight you get a chance to prove it. And that's what they did. And they left no doubt, you know, and that was a great moment. It was an unbelievable thing. It was the culmination of that journey. It's over. Man, we're on to 2019. I mean, we've enjoyed it. We've had a great experience, and I'm happy for our fans to be able to be national champions and to take pride in our brand. But man, it's time for us to get back to work, and I can't wait. So I'm glad that all this. I've enjoyed being on the road, but I'm ready to kind of get back at it, and because that's what we love to do. I mean, it's great. To answer your question, it's just special, and it's motivating to want to go do it again, for sure. But the best part is what it takes to get there. That's always the best part. And for me in college football, to be able to start over every year with totally different team and new people and getting a chance to teach, and it's exciting. So I'm ready to go, ready to get back at it, and see how we can do this year.
We're going to take two more from Coach, so we'll go to Coach Streeter. Will, start. Hey, Dabo, with Mason, how does the gray shirt rule work with him? And that he's coming in now.
Yeah, eventually he'll be on scholarship, but we anticipate him being here in August, and when his scholarship's going to start, we'll see how it all goes.
Coach, did you like the east wing of the White House or the south lawn better?
I like the east wing. It was amazing. It was an unbelievable experience. Kind of. There's been a lot of people talk about. That's been interesting too, being out on the road. A lot of chit chat on how that came about, and it was really us that pushed it to that Monday. They wanted to do it. We were not going to do it in April or May or June. That was a nightmare. And they wanted to do it in February, and that would not work at all for anybody, for any of the seniors. So we went back and forth, and so really that Monday was the only day that was the best time for us, even though we had a lot of seniors already had their flights and different things, and so it was a little bit of a challenge for them. But everybody had the opportunity to go that wanted to go, and it was amazing. We got up there, and I've never seen D.C., to see snow like that. It was beautiful. We went to the Lincoln Memorial, and it was an unbelievable experience. When you think about how people built that, back when there were no cranes and electricity, and it's just fascinating to me. Had to hand carve stuff like that. It's just unbelievable. We went to the MLK Memorial, which was also amazing. And again, there's just snow everywhere, and the monument. It was really cool. And then we got a chance to go to the White House and see everything. And we really had they had entertainment. We had kind of run of that part of the house, and all the snow. We got a chance to see Marine One land right in front of us. So it was a really unique experience. And then everybody got to go in the Oval Office. Everybody that all of our players and staff, which was pretty cool. Never been a part of that either. So it was a lot of fun. We had a great time, and I know there's stories written. Some people didn't go. Everybody had an opportunity to go. They wanted to go. If you didn't want to go, you didn't have to go. But I'm on record. I don't care who the president is or isn't. If we win a national championship and I get invited, I'm going. It don't matter to me. I'm never going to politicize, my role in the team here. I think it's a great honor to be invited to go to the White House. And like I said, I don't care who the president is or isn't. It doesn't matter to me. So 50 years from now, there'll be a president and half the country will hate him or her. That's probably a fact. If we – I don't know if I'll be here 50 years from now, but let's just say hopefully we can win another one somewhere down the road. And I get a chance to go back, and, man, I love that opportunity. What a cool experience.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay, guys. Thank y'all.
How's everybody doing? Good. Just for the record, I played intramural basketball when I was here, just about 5 years ago when I was in school. And I was on the Division I team. I wasn't on the Division II team, just in case you guys were wondering. But, yeah, intramurals is a fun time around here, and our kids love it. But
Some of the players, some of your teammates you played with?
oh, my. I did. I think we had James Chappell and Ivan Brewington and and a couple of my roommates, that you guys might not have heard of before, but we did some good things in those intramural games. Played against guys like Rod Gardner and those guys. Matter of fact, I think we beat him one time. So, yeah, that's right. He pushed me, and I got a foul, all that stuff. Yeah. But what an honor it is for me and privileged to be part of this program. This is my 5th year speaking to you all. Can't believe it. 5th time doing it. I guess I've just finished my 4th full year. But it's just an honor, and I know I've said that in the past, but just to be able to work here in this environment and work under Coach Swinney and his leadership and President Clements and Dan Radakovich and the environment that they create here at Clemson, it's just an incredible experience. And obviously the culture that you hear about all the time is real. You can feel it and touch it, and what a big part of that is part of our recruiting process as well. And it's because of the people. It's because of the people that are involved in this thing, and that's what makes it so special. So first off, I just wanted to thank Coach Swinney and what he does for this program and what he does for all the people that are involved in this program and for the players that he gets to touch every single day. This staff that I get to work with, incredible. You talk about a group of passionate men that go out on that recruiting trail, and there are no egos. There's no egos. It's not about getting a raise or getting whatever for signing more guys than the next guy. It's about a team effort. And you look at this board and the guys that we signed. You can put 2 or 3 names on most every one of them. And then whenever they get here, it is so critical to be around this place in the recruiting process, obviously, but it's because of all the support staff that we have that are really, really involved, and they don't get the recognition, but they're so involved, with the GAs and the player development guys and the analysts and the student workers that spend all kinds of time in this building, not just doing football stuff, but helping us in recruiting. And when we have guys on campus that are helping us, not just organize, but just to be around them and just to make sure that they feel like they are part of a family, make these families feel like they're part of this thing. And guys like Brad Scott, incredible influence on the recruits that we get here. Woody McCorvey, what a mentor to every one of us in this building, and a big part of the recruiting process. Thad Turnipseed, obviously we wouldn't be in this room, be in this awesome facility if it wasn't for Thad and what, his direction in these facilities, and then, kind of directing the overall recruiting process. And then I just can't say enough about Jordan Sorrells and his staff. Jordan Sorrells does so much work that y'all don't even realize, from the travel and the organization. And, I mean, you wouldn't believe what goes into all the things that he has to deal with. Obviously, Ty Clements at his side, and Justin Spiros, who just left to go to Cleveland Browns. But what a great worker he was for us. You look at our video department, Todd Green, Henry Guess, and those guys. Tireless hours now to get these videos that y'all see in recruiting and that we get to send out and that all these recruits get to see. And then when they're here on campus, whether it's an official visit or an unofficial visit, and they're amazing videos, the best I've been around. Abe Reed and Nick Yarrett in the equipment room downstairs, they do an incredible job of making it look great whenever we go down into the locker room with these players and prospects. And they, believe me, that's a big part of these recruits. That's what they want to see. That's a big part of what they like. What is the equipment like? And it takes a lot of organization through Abe Reed and Nick down there. Paul Journey, Jeff Davis, you've heard it a million times. We're about off the field. What we teach our players, what we teach them to help them get ready for life after football, and how important that is, and what Paul Journey does with Jeff Davis, Rashard Hall, and Savannah Bailey, it's incredible. Our players love going into their offices every day and just communicating with them and creating that bond with Paul Journey. Alex Bina, who works downstairs in our new science lab. You know, he does an incredible job. That has been an eye-opener for our recruits to come in here and see what we have to offer for recovery for our athletes. Donna McCain down in the Paul Bistro and what she is able to do with our nutrition is incredible. And Paul, obviously, a big part of the nutrition and just making sure we're on track. Danny Poole, you know, a big part of our tours is obviously going through the training room. The moms and dads and the parents, they want to know what's going on in that training room and who's in charge, and he does a great job. Obviously, academically, Matt Lombardi and his staff over at the Near East Center. Every time we have a visit, official or unofficial, it goes over. We go over there and make sure we sell that. And obviously, a big part of who we are. Strength staff with Joey Batson, incredible. I mean, Joey's been here for 20 plus years. Was here whenever I played here. So, just an incredible resume that he has, and just a greater person, not just a great coach, but a greater person, great heart. And these kids love him and love the opportunity to meet him on these visits. DJ Gordon, Mike Dooley, all are a big part of it. Jennifer Benton, I'll say this, she works tirelessly in the back there with travel, trying to get us all of our flights and all of our rental cars, and comes and helps us with our travel receipts, all the stuff that's time consuming. She makes it so much easier. And I know I stand up here every year and say this stuff, but it's important that those people hear that from me and from Coach Swinney, just how important it is to thank them, because they do a lot of work. And sometimes they get unnoticed, but they are incredible, and we couldn't do it without them. And so I just wanted to reiterate that to you all before, you know, I really open it up to questions. I know Coach really hit on a lot of our recruiting stuff with some of the numbers, so you all have that, but just really wanted to open it up to questions from you guys, if there are any that I can answer.
Brandon, Tyson, you have one quarterback taking this class. What is it about him that you saw in the recruiting process that made you want to offer him and take his commitment?
Yeah. Well, number one, as you know, how I do recruiting with the quarterbacks is I want to make sure it's the right fit. I mean, we all do as coaches here at Clemson. We want to make sure it's the right fit, but I just want to be very thorough and make sure that they understand the process and they understand not just the football piece, but the things outside of football. Just want to make sure that they have the character that can fit in our room. My quarterback room right now is as good as it's ever been as far as the character and work ethic and just being great teammates. And so when I got to meet Tyson for the first time and/or talk to him on the phone for the first time, I could tell immediately how grounded he was and how he was brought up with from his family and just a neat family guy. And that's what we're about here, obviously. So that was the initial part. Obviously, you watch film and you kind of check that box. Why? Why did I check that box? Well, when you watch the film, he makes every throw that you need to make, whether he's in the pocket or on the run. He escapes the pocket. He's a great athlete. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. And he'll be 220 before long, you know. So he has all of those tools that you really love to have. He has similar things that Deshaun had, you know, coming out of high school as far as the athleticism and being able to throw the football. So very, very excited about Tyson. And in the recruiting process was able to go up to Connecticut a couple times and just kind of watch him play basketball and get to know him a little bit, and then got him down here for, I think, early spring last year for the first time with his family, and then he came back for the spring game, and that's when he committed. And it was a neat day for him and for us to get a kid like that.
Coach, when you have a true freshman who did what Trevor did, does that just take recruiting to another level?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I think anytime you have a guy that's in the spotlight like Trevor was throughout this whole season, and to be able to handle the spotlight like he did, and be so successful, I think is very intriguing. And then obviously, shoot, when you see who he's able to throw the ball to, and you see who is blocking for him and running the ball and so on and so forth, it's very intriguing. And it's fun to go out there throughout the recruiting cycle and sell that to these guys. It's so easy to sell it. I mean, it's just facts, and it's easy to. I think people, when they watch us, they see the passion, they see the talent, but then when you go into schools, it just makes it that much easier because of what we've been able to produce here and the type of kids that we have.
Brandon, when you're out recruiting, how much of a factor, Clemson has a well-deserved reputation as wide receiver you.
Yeah.
When you're out there, do you hear from potential recruits saying, I want to continue that tradition, be a part of that?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you ask that because, honestly, you can pick the position and it could be QB, it could be running back, it could be O-line. It really is turning into, we've had unbelievable wide receivers here and continue to have unbelievable wide receivers. But I think all of us coaches could argue, heck, it could be DBU, it could be, it could be any position. But, kind of like I was saying earlier, when you have those special players that we've had in the past at receiver, and they know the facts of what they're going to get here as a student athlete and the degree that they're going to get from Clemson University, and then the opportunity that they're going to have to play at the next level, and the stats that we can show them, the guys that we have in the NFL, it's incredible. So it just makes it that much easier, and there's just proof out there that there's not a better program to do that for. And so it makes it very, very intriguing. And then for me as the quarterbacks coach, being able to go out there to all over the country and sell that. That is such a big selling point for me with quarterbacks to say, listen, you need to go and compare who you're throwing to, with us and whoever else you're looking at, because that's a big part of it. Deshaun Watson and Kelly Bryant and Trevor Lawrence and those guys that I've worked with here, they have been great players. There's no doubt about it. They're special players. But the guys that they're throwing to make them even that much better. And just being able to have that is a very big security blanket for the quarterbacks and to recruit quarterbacks like that.
Brandon, obviously 2 years ago, it meant a lot in recruiting to outlast Alabama and to win a championship. What is the impact of now of beating Alabama by 4 touchdowns?
Yeah.
In a totally different way.
It's been incredible. I think there's, it's hard to not argue the fact that, we dominated that game. And, I just think that by us being able to go into the state of Alabama and recruit like we've been the last year or two, I think that things have been changing, things are changing. And I think that it's just proof. Obviously, Alabama's an unbelievable program, but we're the best one right now, and it's hard to argue that. It really is. It's hard to argue that, and it's so neat to see our team this year, but especially our seniors, go through that transition of, losing to them in 15, beating them in 16, and then losing to them in 17, and then going out on the high note and beating them in this past year. And just the senior class that we had and the special leadership qualities that they had. It was just neat to see them come back after they could have left last year, and some of those guys and came back and be able to overcome that hurdle that we had last year and weren't able to get it done and come back and, hey, won 2 of the last 3. So I think it's a big statement, by winning by 4 touchdowns. And then the coolest thing about that game was the last drive. Over a 10-minute drive, longest in school history. Started on the -1, ended up on the 5 or 4 yard line, and just stopped playing, to let the clock run out. Pretty special.
Kind of on a similar note, with so many recruits wanting to look at Clemson right now, how often are you guys hearing from Dabo Swinney regarding the 2020 class and even beyond? Slow down, slow down.
You know him too well. Very, very often. I mean, and it's so neat because it has worked. I mean, there is year in and year out, you know, it's very intriguing to get very excited about younger recruits. But to really slow down and watch these kids play 2 or 3 years in high school before you go all in on them is very important because, you know, you see them in their sophomore year and they look great, and then all of a sudden their junior year maybe they plateaued and didn't perform as well, and then other guys emerge, other guys are maturing and getting more playing time and overtake them in the process. And you see a little bit more upside in certain guys when you wait a little bit longer. And so Coach Swinney says it all the time to our staff. And, you know, we're aggressive. We want to go get the best, you know, and the best fit for Clemson. And we got to start early, at least starting to get to know these guys. But the more patient we are, the more right we are. And that's worked here at Clemson.
Brandon, you've seen the recruiting footprint since you've taken over as coordinator grow and grow and grow and expand out. What's it like to be able to reach out to what so-called anchor states like California, Texas, and now get the reciprocal interest that you do in getting recruits like Ngata and players like that?
It's really neat. I mean, it is neat to go into, you know, states that are further away and just be so receptive by their coaches and by, you know, everybody in the school, really. You know, you turn a lot of heads now. Whereas, you know, 6, 7, 8 years ago, they're wondering where you're from, you know, and that Paul is so powerful right now because of the success and because of the impact that we've had on our student athletes and them spreading that word. It's been really, really special. And, you know, and it's more of now those players reaching out to us. And us still being, especially from being so far away at first, Coach Swinney will tell you, he'll sit these guys down in his office if they show up on campus and say, why would you come from California to Clemson? Just, what are you thinking? Why? Trying to get an answer like, what is so intriguing about Clemson? And if they make that effort to come out here, they got a good reason because it costs some money to get out here. And they have great reasons, and usually those type of kids and those type of families are the perfect fit. And so we just have to do a great job with our footprint of not being spread so thin that we're just bombarding those states that you mentioned, but we're making sure that if we go out there to those states, we're getting guys that are a perfect fit for our university and not just going to get guys that are 5-star, 4-star, whatever. They got to be a perfect fit and still make sure that, hey, these closest states to Clemson in South Carolina are our priority, and our roster proves that. But I know that there's been some interest in states that are further away, and heck yeah, if they're a perfect fit for Clemson, we're going to be excited about them.
Coach, after going through the early signing day twice now, is there anything you had to change or tweak? And do you think the early signing period is effectuating more mid-years? You have more this year, 17, than you've ever had before.
Yeah. I don't know necessarily that the early signing period affects our mid-years. It's more of how many guys are graduating from our team and from our roster to get the mid-years. But I've really enjoyed the last 2 early signing periods, you know, just because when a kid knows especially for us, when a kid knows he's coming to Clemson or commits to Clemson, he doesn't decommit. It just doesn't happen. And, you know, we have 90% plus of our signees for that whole class know that they're coming to Clemson by December. And so why not sign them? And it's a relief for them too. Signing, it's over with. And now whether they're a mid-year or they're a June enrollee, you know, now they can just focus on whatever their next phase is. And for us, we still go to their homes and we still go see them at school if they're not a mid-year guy in January, even if they sign in December. All right. But, it's not nearly as nerve-wracking to hold on to those guys because they've already signed. They know where they're going. So I think it's been good on both ends, and everybody's got different opinions on that, but I think it's been really good for us as coaches. And, I believe the signees and the student-athletes like it better too. That's just my opinion. Now, there have been some situations where, signing day, what day was that? The 21st maybe of December, somewhere around there. We've been fortunate to be in a bowl game that's later on, but I've talked to some friends of mine that are playing in bowl games that day. So that's definitely an interesting dynamic and makes it for a little bit of a hectic deal. So I don't know what they would say, but I know that it is a little bit different when they're playing in a game in the Bahamas for the Bahamas Bowl out of the country and signing guys, so that would be interesting.
You mentioned fit. Coach Swinney told us a couple months ago that he instructs the staff, don't be afraid to let a good player walk. Is that ever intimidating, or do you ever worry if you're letting the wrong guy walk out the door?
Great question. No, to be honest with you, because, Coach Swinney makes it very clear, that the number one thing is the fit. And don't worry about making someone or coaches at that high school or anybody feel bad about cutting a guy loose from recruiting him anymore, as long as we understand that, hey, he might not be the right fit for Clemson, and we hear a little bit more about him every time we go to that high school and we see that he is a fit or he's not a fit, because we ask more and more questions the more we go. And so, with our job in recruiting, we got to be right, and we definitely have pressure on us to be right, but we need to be right, especially with the fit piece. All right. And obviously you check the boxes with the talent, but man, if we're not right in the fit for this university and for our culture, then they'll stick out like a sore thumb, and we don't want to be a part of that.
Brandon, how has Trevor handled himself the last few weeks? Because, what he's accomplished is not average, so it'd be easy to kind of blow up and things like that.
Yeah.
And did you have any concerns at all about how he'd handle it?
No, I really didn't have any concerns, and I really don't. Just because of who he is as a person and where he comes from with his family. To be honest with you, this kid is driven and focused, and honestly doesn't care a whole lot. I'm sure he's excited about getting some of these accolades, but he just wants to win and be a great teammate. That's what he wants to do, and be an awesome student here at Clemson. That's what this is the phase of his life where he just wants to be at his best one day at a time and take one day at a time. And so it doesn't surprise me at all how he's taken the success and the notoriety and the spotlight. I recruited him since he was in 9th grade, so I've known he and his family for that long, and I just knew that the poise that he has and how grounded he is. And then throughout that whole process of recruiting him, he was the easiest recruit I've ever had to recruit. It was so easy because he knew what he wanted. He set his goals, and he went out and attacked them, and he knew what he wanted. It was like Deshaun, and I didn't recruit Deshaun, but that's what I heard about Deshaun. He knew what he wanted. He set his goals, and he went out and attacked them, and he's so laser focused. And it was just impressive to see him go through the season, though. And it didn't surprise me, but still, to know that he was a true freshman and to go through the season and do what he was able to do on a big stage just shows everybody out there that he's such a poised kid and driven.
So he hasn't shown up in a limo to meetings.
Not yet. Not yet. But just a great kid. And like Coach Swinney said, we haven't been around him much. I've seen him probably 2 times, maybe 3 times since we've won the national championship. So I saw him quickly walk through there today. We're going to have a quick meeting after our team meeting, so we'll be able to regroup. But we're already on to next season, and Coach Swinney does a great job of making sure our players and our coaches and our staff, we got to start over. You know, what you did last year doesn't matter. The confidence helps from last year for sure, but you got to reprove yourself. So you got to re-earn it one step at a time, one day at a time. And our guys, talking to Coach Batson and the staff down there already, I mean, these guys are attacking it. So we got some go-getters. So that's who he is. That's what Trevor's about. And you know, I already got goals set up for them, and they put their own goals out. So it's pretty neat.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.